One on the ground and do that, then do testing. We haven't seen but if you're the channel, of course, you're doing content and the and deck test again, do all have on the and so that's that. Okay. As you are going to do remaining plugs, and we'll talk about some altars very quickly. Yes, as you and shout all of hand painted craft work that my wife and her sister do for the altars community. We do a lot of really stuff. Anime artworks and then highly detailed paintings on that 2.5 by 3.5 inch magic card, and we can do everything under the sun for non-foils and foils. So if you like that type of stuff, definitely like and subscribe. Again, we are on all kinds of different social media platforms as well, and we have a Patreon, so check out the Patreon to get early access and head of line privileges for commission requests. Below that is the graphic for Alliance of Military Magic players, and you can scan that QR code. All the things relevant to the military magic community. Where we try to line up games, Commander, and other kinds of other formats that we cater to all kinds of audiences, and doesn't matter what branch of service you've been in or served with, or a veteran, if you are also in the National Guard and Reserves, etc., or if you just support in general the military community, reach out and connect. We want to make sure the global community of folks that are stationed all over the world has a chance to play some Magic. All right, and I don't know why some of my transitions are not quite working today. They're just a little bit slow, but we want to get into the highlights. All right, so as you can see there, the very center of the screen is Sublime MTG Altars. You can find us again on all kinds of social media outlets. Just scan that QR code and check out our stuff. So the main part of the stream today is to do an Altars highlight. We're doing a Final Fantasy tribute. There are 3 very specific altars that were recently done. I'm going to show 2 of them done by Michiko and then 1 of them done by Kumiko, and we're going to do that momentarily. Let's see here, transition really quick to the Sublime MTG Altars page, which we primarily operate off of Facebook, and you can find that there. Actually, that graphic is a little bit old because we are actually very close to 15,000 followers. We can't thank all of you enough for supporting our platform, and we hope to continue to do this for the foreseeable future, and then really just kind of highlight and embellish the commanders and all the really cool cards that you put in your deck to give it some character. We are going to show the first 2 altars, and what I like to do is generally give some sort of narrative to give it a bonus kind of a feel for what these cards are and why the client chose the artwork to be placed on the card, and then just talk through anything and everything as it pertains to not just the gameplay and the characteristics of the card, but also why the art makes sense. And so we want to bring that love of the game, not just Magic the Gathering, but Final Fantasy to light here. Okay, the second part of the stream is after talk about these two altars done by Michiko and then the one altar done by Kumiko, we're going to do a deck tech for Gruul. It's a partner deck tech that is going to feature Dargo the Shipwrecker and then Ich-Tekik Salvage Splicer. And then following that, we're going to look forward to doing some Moxfield playtesting, so I can show you all how I do that, which is a really cool way of testing your decks out before you buy your cards for your decks. And don't forget, as you are buying singles, you could also use my TCG Player affiliate link, which will be posted in the chat several times over, and you can hopefully think about the different cards that are placed in my decks and decide if that's something you're interested in doing, and then you might as well just use my link to buy those singles. And that's one way to support the channel. Also, one way to support myself and other content creators. You probably noticed the cool graphics associated with Team Gyrudo. Check out that platform. It's kind of a very cool platform where you could see all kinds of different social media content creators and then also interact with and try to line up games there as well. Okay, enough about that. Let's get into the first part where we get to look at these altars. All right, cool. So we are highlighting first. Professional Facebreaker and Heroic Intervention. And what we have here is a tribute really to Tifa Lockhart. If you know and love the game Final Fantasy VII, you really, I think this will resonate with you. And also why why the art was selected for these two cards. So let's get into that narrative, which I think is really cool. Yeah, all right. So we are definitely showcasing these absolutely stunning hand-painted foil Magic the Gathering altars, featuring none other than Tifa Lockhart from FF7. And these custom pieces, they really just transform Professional Facebreaker and Heroic Intervention into absolutely eye-catching collectibles that I think the client is going to love, and whenever he plays it, he's just going to marvel at the way the art was done. And so I think they perfectly blend the worlds of MTG and, of course, one of gaming's most beloved heroines. The vibrant foil treatments immediately draw your attention with the fiery red backdrop of Professional Facebreaker and the brilliant green emerald shine of Heroic Intervention, which creates a striking contrast that makes both cards pop under the light. So starting with Professional Facebreaker, Michiko, the artist who did the altar, I think she captured Tifa in her iconic combat outfit. And of course, it's complete with her signature white crop top, black suspenders, and oversized gauntlet thrust directly toward the viewer, or toward the player. The dynamic punches and the pose feels tailor-made for the card's aggressive gameplay identity, in which Professional Facebreaker rewards players for dealing combat damage and generating treasure. And what better to represent that than Tifa, one of the most powerful melee fighters in the Final Fantasy universe. The metallic foil Japanese lettering also, as you can see there on the foreground, adds what I think is an incredible visual effect, almost resembling a flashy fighting game title screen or anime impact graphic. And so if you've ever been stationed in Japan, and you know the very cool signs and neon signs and things, as you can see out there in the city, this is definitely going to resonate with you. And really what we look at here is the card, when it shifts in the light, you could see the silver foil accents that are embellished with respect to the metallic parts of her outfit. parts of her glove, her earrings, etc. And then you could also see kind of the red foil nature of and shine that is shown with her hair, and then her eyes, and then also parts of her glove, etc. Right, and really the accents create movement and energy that emphasize her devastating punch. Okay, then we have Heroic Intervention. And so what we see here is a completely different side of Tifa with a playful and charming tour guide inspired cowboy outfit. And what we have is, I think, the warm earth tones of the hat and the vest contrast beautifully against the vivid green foil card frame, creating a bright and inviting appearance. And despite the softer pose, the artwork still conveys confidence and protection, perfectly matching Heroic Intervention's ability to safeguard your permanents from destruction and targeted removal. And so, you know, one thing I want to kind of just show here is when the client was selecting this art, you know, it's that look that Tifa gives, which is kind of this confused look that she you know, this particular gaze that she directs towards Cloud. But you know, this is the look that your opponents give when they try to destroy your side of the board and you protected using Heroic Intervention. So I thought that was really cool when he selected the art. And you know, furthermore, just kind of wrapping up the Tifa highlight, and really, you know, it has always been this emotional state of what the character is, and really, I believe she was the heart of Avalanche, where she's standing strong to protect her friends through every challenge, making her really just an ideal fit for one of Green's most iconic defensive spells. The reflective foil background enhances the artwork's depth while giving the entire piece a premium, almost gemstone-like finish. Together, these two altars, I think what they do is they tell a fantastic story. One showcases Tifa, the fearless fighter, charging into battle, while the other highlights Tifa, the protector, standing by her allies. The bold red and green color palettes align perfectly with each card's gameplay function, and the hand-painted foil embellishments elevate both pieces into true display-worthy works of art. From the shimmering Japanese text effects to the carefully rendered details of Tifa's outfit and expressions, these altars demonstrate how thoughtful artistic choices can make a Magic card feel even more connected to its mechanics and lore. And so whether you're a fan of Magic, Final Fantasy VII, or custom altars in general, these are the kinds of cards that instantly become the centerpiece of any collection and really just turn heads when it comes to gameplay, when I believe the client is going to have a blast with this and then be able to talk it through with his friends and then just kind of you know, make it the centerpiece of the gameplay when that happens. So did you like these two altars? Did you like these altars? Did the art make sense? Yeah, let us know in the comments. Give us a shout out, send us a like, subscribe, do all the things again, as I mentioned previously, with regard to the social media stuff. Reach out and hopefully you can request a commission. We are opening for normal requests at the end of July, and I think we are also to our Patreons on Patreon, we're going to give them early access to being on the wait list and the commission queue, so folks have a head start in submitting requests and us evaluating them. And as we normally do on the channel, we like to show and place them in magnetic card holders. I'm going to be very delicate because I don't want to damage the cards. And we're going to put the first card, Professional Facebreaker of Tifa, in there. It is in a perfect fit, and it is going to be slid into this magnetic card holder, which is really cool. Slap it in to the sleeve, and then apply that Sublime MTG Altars sticker. And we're going to get this out to the client. I think we're going to do it towards the end of the month. We're just kind of going through all of the commission queue. We anticipate finishing our queue for Michiko. We're going to probably finish it during the first or second week in July. And then maybe do some stock before we really get into the commission queue evaluation. That's the first one there. The second one, Heroic Intervention. Also place that in another magnetic card holder case with that perfect fit. Slide that in, snap it in place. Oh, what happened there? Okay, I want to make sure that is properly set. Yep, you got to be careful with those. You want to snap it too hard because they could damage the card. Definitely did not do that. But we have it also slipped into this plastic sleeve. And again, apply the Sublime MTG Altar sticker to that. I hope you enjoyed that part of the stream. We are not going to be able to physically display Kumiko's altar for Edea, but we're just going to showcase it really quick with some of the digital pictures and then video that we have. So give me a moment as I finish this up. I don't know, some of these stickers, I think this is from the company called Sticky Brand. I don't like how they have the you know, just the way it sticks on. It's not quite as good as what I think it could have been. Anyway, these are the two. They're going out. It's probably at the end of the month. Looking forward to having these two altars turn heads. So that's very cool. Now let's talk about the second altar, or really I should say the third altar, but this is the one that we want to highlight for Kumiko. And we're gonna play the video there. So Edea, if you're familiar with Edea, Edea is the Edea Kramer. She's a character in Final Fantasy VIII. And let's just do the showcase here. So on the right hand side is a still photo of the card, but on the left hand side we have a video that we're looping that just really shows the really cool foil nature and the accents that we are really good at, I would have to say. So let's talk about that, right? So Edea Kramer, she's the Sorceress of Final Fantasy VIII, reimagined on the card itself, Edea Possessed Sorceress. So if you're not familiar with either of those characters, essentially, or what the card is, just check out TCG Player and take a look at that. I think this is part of the special promos that came out for Final Fantasy. And you know, the altar really, it commands attention with a dramatic use of deep crimson reds, icy blues, and shadowy blacks that perfectly capture Edea's mysterious and intimidating presence. Kumiko used the foil surface brilliantly, allowing the colors to shift and shimmer under the light, creating an almost magical aura that feels worthy of one of the most iconic villains in Japanese role-playing game history. The foil embellishments truly elevate this piece to another level. Wisps of smoke-like energy seem to swirl around Edea, enhanced by reflective accents that give the illusion of dark sorcery emanating from the card itself. The contrast between the cold blue magical effects and the rich black shadows creates incredible depth, while flashes of red provide a sense of danger and power lurking beneath the surface. Every movement of the card catches new highlights in the foil treatment, making the magical energy feel alive. These effects mirror the visual spectacle players remember from Final Fantasy VIII whenever Edea appeared on screen surrounded by her supernatural powers and ominous presence. Of course, no Edea altar would be complete without highlighting her unmistakable elegance and beauty. The Kumiko captured her regal features flawlessly, from her piercing gaze and confident expression to the graceful silhouette of her iconic sorceress attire. Her design balances sophistication and allure, emphasizing the commanding charisma that made Edea such a memorable character throughout the game. The flowing hair, dramatic costume details, and carefully rendered facial features all contribute to a piece that feels both powerful and enchanting, drawing players into the character's captivating presence. I think what makes this altar especially impressive is how perfectly the artwork complements the card itself. Edea, possessed sorceress, represents a character consumed by forces beyond her control, and the smoky foil effects, dark palette, and magical energy all reinforce that narrative. In Final Fantasy VIII, Edea serves as the vessel manipulated by Ultimacia, creating a tragic blend of immense power and lost autonomy. The card's mechanics and identity echo that storyline, while the artwork visually tells the same tale through its haunting atmosphere and magical imagery. The result is an altar that doesn't just look incredible, it feels like a seamless fusion of Magic the Gathering gameplay and Final Fantasy VIII storytelling, making it a true to the game centerpiece for any collection. So that altar already went out conveniently. The client lives in Japan, so we were able to get that out to him very quickly, and I think he is enjoying it within the games that he's playing with friends. So if you liked the altar, let us know in the comments. I think these altars, the Edea one and then the Tifa one previously mentioned and shown, they're both amazing, and Kumiko and Michiko did an excellent job of realizing the client's intent. So again, check us out, check out the social media, do all the things, like and follow, subscribe, all of that. Okay, let's now shift to the second part of the stream, where we talk about our deck tech. And I think the reason why we went with this deck tech today was I was just thinking to myself, well, we had those two cards for Tifa Lockhart in the beginning. They're both red and green, and then I have a professional facebreaker in this deck. I honest to God, I wish some of these altars would never leave our home and go to the clients who paid for them, because they're just so gosh darn amazing. But I have to let them go. Obviously, these need to go out to the clients. Those two altars that I showed, they need to go. But as I was thinking about those two cards, I was thinking about this deck that I built for our Dargo and Ich-Tekik. So very quickly, I just want to show these two partner commanders. So on the red side is Dargo the Shipwrecker, 6 colors and a red. As an additional cost to cast a spell, you may sacrifice any number of artifacts and or creatures. This spell costs 2 less to cast for each permanent sacrifice this way, and then 2 less to cast for each other artifact or creature you sacrifice this turn. It has trample. That's another keyword that I honestly forgot in one of the games I recently played, and it has partner. So on the red hand side of things is Dargo, and then we have Ich-Tekik. So what I like to do in terms of originally putting the deck together was thematically it was kind of cool. You have a Shipwrecker, and then you have on the green side of things Ich-Tekik. What he does is salvage what Dargo wrecks. So Ich-Tekik, Salvage Splicer, 4 colors and a green. It also has partner. When Ich-Tekik, Salvage Splicer enters the battlefield, create a 3/3 colorless golem artifact creature token. Whenever an artifact is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on Ich-Tekik, and also +1/+1 counter on each golem you control. So what this does is Ich-Tekik capitalizes on the sacrificed artifacts that you play within the mechanic for which Dargo can have a reduced cost. And also it takes full advantage of not just the artifacts that you sacrifice, but also any artifacts that even your opponent sacrifices, and it will give those +1/+1 counters. So what you can imagine is a deck that deals heavily in token creation, primarily, of the food, treasure, and clue variety. And we're going to see some really cool cards that are in the deck. But before I get into the visual showing of those cards in the stack here, let's transition very quickly over to the Moxfield list. All right, so I'm going to do that right now. And we're going to move a few things over. Oh, there it is. And we're going to be doing a little bit of waiting. Apologies. But let's go ahead and show that. For some reason, it is not showing. There it is. Okay. So let me just make sure I adjust a little bit here first. So a lot of folks generally ask, what kind of brackets do I normally play? I like to play bracket 4. That's kind of my main lane that I like to play in. But I do dabble in CDH. I dabble in bracket 3, and then I would say pretty much almost never do I have a bracket 2 or bracket 1, because I just like to play game changers. And if everyone knows anything about where the brackets are, really as soon as you start introducing a game changer, you are entering into at least bracket 3. And then if you get into more than 3 game changers and you have certain mechanics in the deck that enable infinite combos, and you have the ability to win pretty much by turn 6 essentially, then you're really entering into the bracket 4 category. So Dargo, the Shipwrecker, Ich-Tekik, Salvage Splicer, it is a bracket 4 deck. And really what that means is, objectively speaking, we're looking at more than 3 game changers. It has 4. We have Gaia's Cradle, Ancient Tomb, Heraldry Tutor, and Mana Vault. Honestly, I would say even though it is a bracket 4, it actually plays more like a bracket 3, but like a high bracket 3 or a low bracket 4. So very quickly, I'm just going to highlight some very cool cards in the deck. Of course, it's a red-green deck. Dargo and Ich-Tekik, I just talked about that visually. Really, you're looking forward to sacrificing a lot of artifacts and then just kind of controlling the board with really large creatures, especially those golems that come out. And so what the deck has, it has 4 planeswalkers. There's some really good mechanics here in terms of drawing. There's also the good mechanics of sacrificing stuff. So we have that exists here. Luca's a really cool card. Luca, Bound to Ruin. Really, it's a form of removal. I like the +1, and then I like the -4. And then if you just want additional token creation in the form of creatures, like a beast token, you can get that from that. Nissa Vital Force, honestly, this is just a repeatable regrowth. So having the ability to return cards from your graveyard to your hand is really cool. And that's primarily what I use this for. And then if I can get it to -6, that's also cool. That's not really the design of the deck. It does not really use landfall. I really just use the -3 as many times as I could get it. Okay, so there's 23 creatures. I'm not going to get into excruciating detail, but remember, this deck capitalizes on token creation. And we have Academy Manufactor, which is an amazing card. If there's even an inclination or the design of the deck has a lot of tokens in the form of clue foods or treasures, I'm definitely going to include that in this deck. Removal, Acidic Slime, Ancient Copper Dragon for creating treasure tokens. Anger is really cool because sometimes when these tokens are created, I don't want to have them just linger. And I have effects that put cards into my graveyard either by discarding them or some other effect. And I like Anger in the graveyard, most definitely. But if he does happen to just hit the battlefield, I want him to die. And Feldon of the third path actually enables some of that. Let's see. Gilder Goose, Goblin Welder, very cool for your recursion shenanigans. Ghostband Dragon for the double mana effect that you can do when you sacrifice a treasure. Magda. So really, what I just generally use her for is the creation of a token just by tapping her. Now, you can make a Magda Brazen Outlaw CDH deck, but that's not really like it's not like this is a hidden commander. It's obviously, for at least for this deck, creating a treasure token. But if you amass a number of treasures, 5 of them, you can bring out cool dragons like Goldspan Dragon, or Ancient Copper Dragon, or cards like Old Gnawbone, which is really cool. And you could also bring out not just dragon cards. You could also bring out an artifact. So any artifact that you think you might need, I'm going to talk about those later. Ovia, like your version of Elfish Piper, which is a really cool card. Now, I played 23 creatures. So if you're looking at what is the ideal number of creatures in this deck, if you're pumping out tokens, you don't really need that many creatures. I just want to make that known. Pathbreaker Ibex is a really cool card because when it attacks, you have pretty much a very high-powered creature on the battlefield, probably in the form of Dargo. And so when it attacks, it'll give +X equal to the greatest power among creatures you control. Really cool. And then your Ich-Tekik and your golems are probably going to be pretty dang huge. They get to become 20/20s, 30/30s, 40/40s, depending on the number of +1/+1 counters that are on them. Pia and Kiran Nalar for more token creation. And then, of course, we have Professional Phasebreaker. Again, the highlight previously shown with the altars done. So I wanted to tie that in with this deck. Really cool. Prosperous Innkeeper. So this is actually a really cool thing that happens when creatures ETB. You gain a life. Now, I will talk about a combo essentially between Dargo the Shipwrecker and a combo enabling card for Phyrexian Altar. And so what you have is Dargo, if you sacrifice it to Phyrexian Altar, it counts itself as part of the state of the game as having been sacrificed. So immediately it essentially recognizes that, and then it was further reduced to play again from the command zone by 2, and then that red that you did to sacrifice the Dargo to Phyrexian Altar gives you the red that you need to play it again. And so if you have basically at that point you have infinite ETBs, you can gain infinite life through Prosperous Innkeeper, or do damage through Perforos, God of the Forge, or other similar effects like Impact Tremors, Warstorm Surge, etc. Infinite draws, in the case of Zavala, really cool. Surak and Goreclaw is really cool. I really like this card. As I was thinking about this particular card, I was thinking, perhaps maybe it'd be a good idea to put, at least in terms of the Final Fantasy theme, maybe throwing also in a Jumbo Cactuar. I think I only have one Jumbo Cactuar, so I threw that in my mono green deck, which I don't know, at some point I'm probably going to end up talking about the deck tech for that. But if you had a Jumbo Cactuar and a Surak and Goreclaw in play, it will have trample, and it will come in and gain haste and have a +1/+1 counter. So if you thought 9,999 power was too much, well, it will swing for 10,000. Great card. Cabbage Merchant, really cool card. One of the more recent cards that I threw in there, and really why I liked it. And it's not because it's a CDH level card. but it can get you a lot of really good mana because of the number of food tokens that's created in the deck. Tinderwall for the flavor of sacrificing it. It'll immediately reduce the cost of Dargo by 2, and then you get 2 red out of it. Tireless Provisioner for your landfall effect of creating treasures and or foods. Tireless Tracker, another very cool card, just kind of standard for landfall. Again, it's not really about landfall in the deck, but you're going to create these tokens like clues, treasures, and food. In the case of the Tireless Tracker, then you're creating clues. Some really cool sorceries I just want to highlight. Clan Defiance, you're going to be able to get a lot of these treasures and net a lot of mana. This is kind of, in a sense, in my mind, it was a filler card. I found it sort of useful in several circumstances. Crack Open to deal with your pesky artifacts and enchantments, and at the same time you'll get a treasure out of it, which is really cool. Monstrous Onslaught. This is a sweet card because all of your creatures at some point in the game, in the long game, are going to be so huge that you can just mow down the board by having those huge creatures deal damage to creatures in the form of its power. Some of your draw, more treasure token creation, but also taking advantage of just dealing damage. So what you probably want to do is choose the highest result for treasures and the lower result damage, just in case you want to sort of protect your creatures. Rishkar's Expertise, great card to pretty much play in any commander deck where you have a really huge power of creatures and you get to draw that many cards. 3 visits for the mana ramp. Some instants, just because it's sort of in theme of token creation, but also occasionally you need blockers, so the saplings that are created out of that are really cool when you're destroying an artifact. Back to Nature to destroy enchantments. And in the deck there aren't that many enchantments, and the ones that really count, you want to make sure you don't remove them. So we'll talk about those later. Beast Within, Court of Calling, Unexpected Windfall, Realty Tutor. I think everyone generally knows what those are. And it's between searching out cards and then drawing cards, creating treasure tokens. This was a really cool card when it first came out. I remember it was super expensive, bootlegger stash. Why is it in this deck? Well, again, I want treasures, and honestly, it's kind of fun. So you'll tap out your lands, which you would normally do for mana, to create treasures, and then when those treasures are created, depending on what's out there, you might be able to just cast Dargo, or if you have your Ich-Tekik out, he'll just get huge. So you tap, let's say, 6 of your lands to get treasures while your Ich-Tekik's in play. You tap and sacrifice those treasures. Your Ich-Tekik gets huge, gets 6+1/+1 counters, and then you can use that mana to pretty much play whatever it is that's in your hand. So mana ramp, Commander Sphere, Karate Clan, Ironworks. Of course, this is a combo enabler. I mean, this was banned in Modern, and for good reason. This is part of an infinite combo in the deck. So you have Karate Clan, Ironworks, and then you have, what is the card? Where is it at? Karate Clan, Ironworks, Nuka-Cola Machine, vending machine, and then Academy Manufacturer. So you have those 3 tokens, basically will net you infinite colorless, infinite treasure tokens, and then basically infinite sacrificing to Ich-Tekik so you can be huge. Mana Vault for the obvious, very quick mana that you need. Maskwick Nexus. This is a really cool card, and I don't play it in too many decks. I think I have 4 copies. But the decks you need it in are the ones that you feel like you can benefit by forcing all of your creatures to basically be one type of creature type. And then what that means is Ich-Tekik can give +1/+1 counters to all of the creatures that you have, not just your golems and Ich-Tekik itself. We talked about new Cola Vending Machine, Phyrexian Altar. I mean, honestly, if you see a Phyrexian Altar and you're my opponent, you're probably going to want to kill it. So it's a kill on sight type card. Radiant Lotus is a recent addition that I wanted to show. Really cool card. And if you sacrifice one or more artifacts, basically it nets you a Black Lotus level of mana for each, which is really cool. Because sometimes I have a tapped out mana vault, I don't need it anymore, sacrifice it, you get 3 mana again. Cool card, RMS Titanic. I have this in several decks. I mean, it'll hit for 7 pretty much almost all of the time, and then you're going to get 7 treasure tokens, which gives you more mana, and it also enables Dargo easy casting, and then of course Ich-Tekik to get your counters. Soul Ring, must have in every deck pretty much most of the time. Tamiya's Journal for your ability, instead of having a card like Demonic Tutor, obviously because this deck does not have black, you're going to have a way to search out cards that you think you need, and Tamiya's Journal is really cool about doing that. Drawing from the Great Henge, the Underworld Cookbook, and I would say the Witch's Oven are kind of in the same framework of giving you certain value by either discarding cards or sacrificing creatures. Again, you want to capitalize on sacrificing certain things to be able to cast Dargo for reduced costs. Treasure Map, really cool. Again, you know, to help do some top deck manipulation for scrying, and then the creation of treasures. And on the other side of Treasure Map is that you can sacrifice a treasure to draw a card. Vidalcan Orrery, for obvious reasons. You'll have quite a bit of mana. Why not use it on an opponent's turn if you can? Then we go into the enchantments. Cinder Vines, again, for a little bit of the sack theme that we have going. But it's also a hidden gem, I would say, for any red-green X deck. When an opponent casts a non-creature spell, it does 1 damage to that player. And then you can sacrifice it to destroy, you know, the most significant, most dangerous artifact or enchantment that's out. And if it's your opponent's, that benefits your Ich-Tekik. It'll give +1/+1 counters to your creatures. Doubling Season, for obvious reasons. Elemental Bond for draw. Garrick's Uprising for draw. Impact Tremors, like Perforos, is great for Dargo Infinite Combo, ETBs. Parallel Lives for obvious reasons, additional token creation. Uncivil Unrest, this is a card that I think is pretty cool, but it's kind of a win more type card. I could easily replace this with, say, a Rhythm of the Wild. And I'll very quickly show the altar that Michiko did. I could easily replace Uncivil Unrest with this card instead. But it's in it for now. It's a cool card. It's only available in 1 printing, I think, and it's not in a foil though, so it's unfortunate that they limited the print for that. Warstorm Surge, like I said, it's very similar to your Impact Tremors and Perforos, but this time you can smash face for 7 damage instead of 1 or 2 that your Impact Tremors and Perforos does. Zendikar Resurgent for just even more mana, doubling up on mana and then drawing cards when you cast stuff. And then I'm just going to highlight here in my list that I have 33 lands, and that is pretty much standard across all my bracket 4 decks. I can increase that to as much as, say, 40 if I have a Lands Matter style deck, and then I could reduce it to as little as 28 for my CDH level decks. But 33 is a nice spot, I think, for bracket 4, especially if you have a lot of mana and have the ability to draw cards and then just do the things that you need to do to win the game. So 33 is my little sweet spot. I'm not going to go into the details of all of that there. I'd rather just show you the cards and then just have a good time with that. Okay, so if you liked that deck tech, let me know in the comments. That was really cool. My next segment here is actually just doing a very quick visual check because all of the deck techs that I do, I like to just show that the cards exist and I have them, I enjoy my cards. I enjoy looking at them. I enjoy foils. I enjoy making the cards look cool and pretty, and if that's in the form of an altar, then I'd like to take advantage of that. And usually, like I said, the altars, they get sold or the clients commission them, and I could never keep them. But on these small number of occasions where I can keep an altar, that's great. And they might make it into decks. Anyway, so we talked about Dargo and Ich-Tekik. Those are cool. The Planeswalker package, as I showed before, there's 4 of them. These are what they are. Tinderwall, and you know what? I remember having several of these growing up. Ice Age print. I think there's another printing of Tinderwall in Future Sight style frame from the mystery box. In foil, it's insanely expensive, but I always liked the Ice Age art. And very briskly, we'll just show all the creatures. So Tinderwall, Tireless Provisioner, Prosperous Innkeeper for infinite life gain, Selvala. Selvala is really great. When you tap her for a green, you can add a shit ton of mana. And so, and then you can also draw pretty much out your deck if you have your infinite combo enabled by Phyrexian Altar and then your Dargo. Old Gnawbone. So also what I want to show here is this is a foil extended art version, and it's in Japanese. So when I was stationed in Japan, every chance I got, if I found a really cool card like this in Japanese print, I did not mind that at all. And that was the nice thing about being stationed in Japan, was having easy access to Japanese cards. And sometimes because of the Japanese yen to US dollar conversion, it was just a lot cheaper to buy cards like these on such a lowered down price. Professional Phasebreaker, Ancient Copper Dragon, Magda, Goldspan Dragon. Like, this is, you know, when this came out, I was like, oh my god, this is awesome. If you play a treasure style token deck, you definitely need to have this in it. Gilded Lotus for food token creation, Cabbage, Merchant, Tireless Tracker for your clues, and then the Catch-All Academy Manufacturer. Really cool. Perforos for your infinite damage. Ovia. One thing I want to mention about Ovia that I did mention in the deck tech when we were looking at Moxfield was that it gives creatures that are attacking one of your opponent's tramples. So you have huge creatures, you want to connect, definitely throw a trample on the deck. But the awesome and amazing thing about it is the Elvish Piper type effect by tapping Ovia. And then you get an additional +1/+1 counter on it if an artifact was put into play. So then enter cards like Mirror Battlesphere, token creation, Mirror Battlesphere is really cool. I think, I mean, it's one of those original commander cards that everyone basically tried to put in all of their decks. Now there's a lot better cards, but I always had a warm and fuzzy having a Mirror Battlesphere out, Mirror Battlesphere out. Pia and Kieran Nalar. So not only that it creates treasure tokens, but you can sacrifice an artifact to shock something. Pathbreaker Ibex, talked about that. Surek and Goreclaw, talked about that as well. Felden, really cool. Anger. So one thing I want to mention is I love old school foils. I think I have 2 Angers in foil. Really awesome if you're able to get them when they were cheaper. And you know, going from there, just if there was ever a chance to pick up old school foils at any time, try and do that. You never really know. Sometimes some of these sleeper cards are just gonna make they're gonna splash hard and make an impact in future decks. So it's not a bad idea to just pick some of these up. Goblin Welder, to do your recursion shenanigans, acidic slime for some of your removal, 3 visits, pirate's pillage, crack open, reckless endeavor for the treasure token creations, draw, removal, removal, instance now, Rolly Tutor, draw, treasure token creation, sapling token creation, search out the cards that you need, and then more removal, which is really cool. I think Beast Within has always been a commander staple because it hits permanence. And then the smattering of artifacts, I pretty much talked through all of them, and we'll go through them very quickly. Soul Ring, Mana Vault, Commander Sphere. Now Commander Sphere is like, okay, why the hell are you playing it? Well, you can draw a card and then you can sacrifice it, so that benefits not just your Dargo but your Ich-Tekik. Radiant Lotus in Japanese, really cool. The Great Henge, also in Japanese, really cool. Clan Ironworks, Nuka-Cola Vending Machine, RMS Titanic, awesome. Pick these up if you can get them. Treasure Map, Bootlegger Stash, Hidden Gem in the deck. As I mentioned before, really cool card. Super expensive. When it came out, everyone thought it was broken. Turns out it wasn't that broken, but in the right deck like this, it definitely is broken. Witch's Oven, Underworld Cookbook, Tamiya's Journal, then the combo enabling Phyrexian Altar, the one we know and love, Mask with Nexus, Vidalcan Ori, and then your slew of enchantments that do really good things that I already mentioned. I think this deck is awesome. It's one of my favorite decks because I felt like it was pretty much very original, and then obviously I play a lot of Phyrexian Altars in a lot of my decks, so it seemed natural to do that. I think that was the only thing that I wasn't very aware of at the time, so I was not afraid of checking out other decks, and that was basically the only one that I pretty much borrowed from any Dargo list, which just capitalizes on the sacrifice effect. Now we get into the lands, which I didn't quite talk about. 33 lands, Dryad Arbor. I don't play Dryad Arbor in all my green X decks. I put it in this because I have a chance to sacrifice it if I want to reduce the cost of Dargo. Artifact lands. Now, I think at one point, whenever I put artifact lands in the deck, I almost always put a metal worker in it. Now, the unfortunate thing is I don't have too many metal workers to go around, and I felt like that was a win more card, so I didn't necessarily feel like I needed to put it in here. But the only reason why these artifact lands are essentially still in the deck is because you could sacrifice them to reduce Dargo's casting costs. Ancient Tomb, one of the 4 game changers. Naturally, it made its way in the deck. These 3 cards, I just want to point out that you want to give your large commanders, their high power commanders at some certain point to just connect either through trample or being unblockable, trample, Kessler Wolfrun, etc. Oh, again, getting those foil original print cards is always a thing. And I think I just looked this up. This is like a $22, $30 card or something. And I think when I first picked that up, it was in the ballpark of, say, $2 or something, maybe less than that. Draw Power, Mikokoro, very cool. Kind of in theme with some of the Japanese text cards that I have. Strip Mine is always a great card to put in any deck. Treasure Vault, also for the fact that it's an artifact land, which is really cool. And then it can generate treasure tokens in a similar fashion. The Gold Saucer does that, and you can sacrifice any number of any two artifacts to draw a card. Snow-covered mountains, snow-covered forests. Your fetch land package. I mean, I like to put 2 to 3 fetch lands in 2-color decks, so that's cool. And then your smattering of red or green type mana that that is needed for the deck. Carpuzan Forest, Temple of Abandon, Copperline Gorge, Rootbound Crag, Gruul Turf, Wooded Ridgeline, Stomping Ground, Cinder Glade, and then obviously we end off with the Taiga dual land. Okay, so that was the visual representation of the deck. I hope you enjoyed that. I do like to just look at my deck sometimes and then just shuffle up, and then, you know, there's some ASMR kind of, I guess you could say, sensation that you can get out of that, which is, I think, kind of cool. And I like to play real cards, right? I like to play real cards and then just have fun. All right. Looks like there is a bot in the chat. That's not cool. I'm gonna have to boot that person or that bot out. Now we're gonna go into the next part of the stream. Maybe I can clean up the chat a little bit, but the next part of the stream, we'll just end it off there, round it out. We are going to do some Moxfield playtesting, maybe just run one game and then be good with that. And as soon as that transition happens, we'll move on over. And we want to see how Dargo plays out, right? So there's the deck. Let's look at how to playtest against other decks. So if you've seen this part of my stream, I think it's kind of cool. Where I have all the different decks that I have. I think 70 total decks, at least that's what Moxfield is telling me I have. And I can playtest Dargo and Ich-Tekik against any other of my 69 other decks. So I guess, I mean, it doesn't really matter which one we're going to play. I think we'll go Damia, Sage of Stone. And I don't know, maybe if it's just a little too slow, maybe we won't even do the playtesting. But I want to show you all how the deck performs, and then just have a go at it. So Damia, and then maybe we'll do Iroas, God of Victory. And this is a new deck that I recently built. I haven't physically built it yet, but it's kind of a kill everything style deck. And a buddy of mine, he did something similar, and not to give him shit, but I wanted to showcase this eventually. So let's play that, Dahada, Binder of Wills. And yeah, that is probably the most recent deck that I've built. I think it's a cool commander, and I'll probably do a deck tech on that depending on how I feel like it plays, because I still haven't gotten all the cards to put it together. But here, what we're trying to do in this stream is showcase Dargo and Ich-Tekik. So let's go ahead and do the playtesting. And for the sake of time, what I generally do sometimes when I just playtest and not stream is I'll randomize the player order. And I just do that through some of the cool features like rolling the dice in Moxfield. We're not going to do that. We're just going to let Dargo start first. But what we will do is we'll do some mulliganing for the other decks. The Dargo deck ended up with a good hand, so I don't have to mulligan that. Here I think we need to go down to 6. There's some really cool cards. I'd like to have 2 to 3 lands, so we're going to go ahead and leave that alone. I think for how this is playing out, I'm probably going to move down Slimefoot. And what's the point of playtesting like this? You know, the point is you gotta have a way to playtest your decks before you really commit to buying cards. And I have a monitor, a computer screen that is acceptable to show all 4 Moxfield windows, so I can play those decks against each other. And you're like, oh man, you're just playing with yourself. Go out and go to an LGS. Yeah, no, I mean, I can go to an LGS, or I could just play Commander on Spell Table or Gerudo or anything, and just do that with buddies. But if I can't quite get that, I need to get my fix in. I'm gonna go ahead and try to play test to do it, you know, this way. I think we went to 6 on this, so probably the right call Man, I really like Nobilis of War. Gosh darn it. 4. You know what? I think we're probably going to end up bottoming the Ogre Battle Driver. Then we have the Hada. Let's mill or mulligan to 7. This is actually not bad. Yeah, this is not bad. I'll just keep that. Serra's Sanctum, though, it's kind of a dead card for a little bit. We're just gonna leave it alone. Okay, here we go. So we're gonna play test and get that Wooded Foothills out. Get the Ridgeline tapped, and then go from there. And I think it's pertinent to probably play a little bit of music in the background because this is a little dry online. What does the chat think we should play? Let's get some comments out there. Maybe some Super Mario. I mean, we were doing some Final Fantasy, so maybe we go back to that. Final Fantasy music, battle music, whatever. Let's find that. Chocobo and Chill. I think there's some other ones. Bombing Mission. Maybe we'll go with Gold Saucer. Play some music in the background there. Alright, let's get that going. Hopefully it doesn't slow down the stream here. Okay, so we shuffled up there. Let's go here. Man, I mean, I want to play Burgeoning, but I also want to take advantage of Lotus Cobra's landfall effect. It's not that big of a deal. Okay, yeah, we'll play Burgeoning first. I really love the card Burgeoning. If you don't play Burgeoning, definitely consider playing Burgeoning in your decks. It is kind of a pricey card, though. I think I was muted out. The music is probably just a little bit too loud. I want to lower that. Just make it background music. Alright, so we need to trigger Burgeoning each time a land is played. That's cool, but I think we'll save the fetch land for the Lotus Cobra. Yeah, play that out. That's cool. Flooded Grove. Okay. And we're just gonna bring in Stomping Grounds. Cool, cool. Now, it may not have been necessary to hold back the Polluted Delta. But let's see if it mattered. So 1, 2. One, 2. 3. And we'll play out this Invasion of Segovia. Really cool card. Alright, so I need to create 2 1/1 blue Kraken creature tokens with Trample. And who do I think is the... I mean, I know what these decks do. So we're going to probably give it to the Dahada deck. Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing about playtesting this way is you already know all your decks, you know what they do. So you're gonna have certain preference to play cards in a certain way against those decks. But again, you know, you're trying to figure out whether or not these decks are gonna play well against other decks, and if they're at similar power levels, then you just compensate where needed. Oh yeah, let me go to the next turn here. And it might actually be okay to do a Faithless Looting just to draw. Man, even Martin Stromgold's pretty cool, but he's not absolutely necessary. Dang it. Okay, I think Mind's Eye is gonna just have to go. I really like Mind's Eye too. I'm really excited about using Mind's Eye in the upcoming Marvel Superheroes deck, Molecule Man, which is the next deck I'm definitely gonna build. All right, we are gonna bring out Professional Facebreaker. For obvious reasons. I mean, we did just show a Tifa Lockhart, so we want to play that. Oh, very cool. We have a Gaia's Cradle, one of the game changers in Damia Sage of Stone. Alright, obviously we need to attack into the battle, so let's do that now. Reset counters, and then it flips. Now you have a 3/3 dude, which is really cool. When it's defeated, exile it, then cast it, transform. So I'm going to cast the other side. Non-creature spells you cast have Convoke, really cool. Conveniently, we are in a very good position to. I mean, we like tokens, but I think what we want to do is we want to get a full hand, so we'll have a Phyrexian Altar being played. That's 4 mana. We have one floating. Oh, hold on. Let's use. Yep, let's use the Sea Tyrant to Convoke. Okay, so I have 4 mana. I'm gonna use that 1, so I'm gonna use 2 of the mana for Gaia's Cradle to play out the altar, which means I have 2 more left. All I really need to do is sacrifice 1 token. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, that was really cool. So turn 3, I played out my entire hand and my commander, which is a 7-drop commander. And then it says at the beginning of my end step, untap up to 4 target creatures. So 1, 2, 3, and Damia's 4, really cool. Okay. Now, in Damia, like, because it's such a high cast commander, you really need a lot of mana. Okay, we are gonna play the Boros Reckoner. Now, you like to play these hybrid cards in a deck that uses a god like Iroas, because you need to get those pips to make him a creature. Okay, conveniently, and not that it really matters, but we want to stop the Damia player from going off. So at the end step, we're going to do Celestial Purge to exile Damia. Not a big deal, but however, what that means is we need to give a token to someone. Let's give it to the Iroas player. Okay, so this is kind of where Sarah Sanctum is just shite. I do play Urborg in the Dahad deck. It's just not making an appearance. It might make an appearance in the future through probably the Damia deck, which also has an Urborg. Okay. What are we gonna do here? So we have 4 mana, and we're gonna do. What we're probably gonna do is attack into Dihada, get that treasure. And then, what is this, 6? 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we want to play out Ich-Tekik. ETB, get that Phyrexian Golem. Very cool. Alright. Oh, okay. The other combo enabler, Ashnod's Altar. 1, 2, 3. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 5. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, technically, I might have had 1 more mana available because of that landfall drop. Okay, whatever. I jacked that up. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Play out Damia again. Oh wait, what happened? No, we want the other guy. Definitely want the other guy. Let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We'll sacrifice the Lotus Cobra. Okay, that's fine. Would it actually have been better to have Ashnod's Altar being played out? Yeah, it might have actually been better to do that. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, Ashnod's Altar, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ah, there it is. 8, 9. Damia again. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. Okay, this is really cool. So I'd like to play Iroas here. He's not going to be pipped out, but the Nobilis of War next turn will do that. Okay, this is the unfortunate part about the Dihada deck. It's just a natural... there's a natural inclination to always attack into the Dihada deck because it hardly runs any creatures. That's okay. Oh man, we're just suffering from being mana screwed. Okay, that's okay. Maybe there's going to be some sympathy being thrown around a little bit. Alright, so this is kind of where certain cool things could happen. We want to take full advantage of attacking multiple creatures. Triggers separately. So we're going to have Facebreaker go to Iroas, and then these dudes... actually, maybe the 3/3 is going to go to Iroas, and then the 1/1 to Ich-Tekik. I'm sorry, Ich-Tekik to the Dihada player. 1/2 automatically because of Menace, and then you know, it's probably fine to just take the 3, so 1, 2, 3, and I will get 2 treasure tokens, which are cool. Now, I think at this point, what I definitely want to do is power out 4, 5, 6, power out the Radiant Lotus, give these guys counters. And then we already sacrificed an artifact, so we're going to reduce Dargo Shipwrecker, the Shipwrecker's cost. So, but I want to use Radiant Lotus here, so sacrifice the treasure for 3 red, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, yeah, that's cool. We get another counter. So 3 plus the 2 artifacts or sacks, that's 7. You play out Dargo. 3, 2, 4. Yeah. Oh wait. I wonder if I could. 2, 4, 6. Oh, I could actually play Commander Sphere. So 3 for that. Sack this for red, then draw a card. And that means I sacrificed 3 artifacts already, so that's 6 colorless. Reduction, then that red to play Dargo. Okay. That actually worked out really nicely. Okay. Now we get a full hand of 7 from the Damia. Man, I really like Invasion of Segovia. It's just an awesome card. Okay, what we do want to do, though, is we want to get the most out of these cards. Oh, I don't know if you noticed, but I drew 7 cards, and of those 7 cards, none of them are lands. 1, 2, 3, 4. I wonder if I could win. I don't know if I could win. Oh, could I win? Convoke. tap this to convoke crop rotation. Yep, I'll do a crop rotation off of that, and I think we're just gonna get an ancient tomb. And I really don't need Urborg, and it's primarily because I don't want to give the Dahada player a chance to tap for mana of the Sarah's Sanctum out. Okay, so we have one, we're just gonna say one black is floating from the landfall trigger. One black is floating. Man. One black floating, and then a colorless, okay. Actually, we won't do that. One black floating, tap Lotus Cobra for Demonic Tutor. And I mean, we don't really need Palancron. I think there's a Peregrine Drake in here. Yep, there is. Okay. So two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. Use 5 of that mana. Float. Let's just call it a black. Black, blue, and a green. Or black, a colorless, and a blue. Black, a colorless, and a blue. Black, a colorless, and a blue. Is there anything here that's going to be able to stop this from happening? So it's 3 mana, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 5, 6 plus 3 mana, that's 9. Okay, cool. So now we have infinite mana. Basically infinite mana at this point with a Peregrine Drake and the Deadeye Navigator. Let's just do this. Scroll Rack, and we don't really need these 2 other cards in play, so let's just tap out. And we put these away to look at 2 cards. Oh god, there it is. Since we have infinite mana, we also didn't play a land. Let's just do that for the sake of completing it. And we have infinite mana, and we just play Torment of Hellfire for infinite life loss. Okay, that was turn 5. Damia is a bracket 4 deck for a good reason, and I even sort of lowered the power level by replacing it with invocation cards that didn't really need to be in there. Torment of Hellfire. Let's just read what it does really quick to see how it won the game. Repeat the following process X times. Each opponent loses 3 life unless that player sacrifices an online permanent of their choice or discards a card. So because you have infinite mana, you basically force everyone to sacrifice all their non-land permanents, discard all their cards, and you still have the 3 life loss per basically X that was not able to be paid by your opponents. And based on the interaction package between the existing other decks, there just was nothing really to be able to prevent that from happening. So yeah, Damia won that. Unfortunately, you saw some cool things happen with the Dargo deck that I think were really cool, but it just wasn't fast enough to get ahead of Damia. Yeah. And so what do we do from here? I'm just going to show really quick what I do with the results. So in this spreadsheet, I have kind of a tally of what is the current number of wins each of these decks have basically won against the other decks that I currently own or am designing. So we had Damia, Dihada, Dargo, and then Iroas. And so for Iroas, what we're going to do is we're going to tabulate the number here. Dihada was not able to win against Iroas, but we had Dargo, also did not win. So it has played against Iroas 12 times, has won 6 times otherwise. Damia gets a win here. So that's, of the 8 games Damia's played against Iroas, it has won 7 times. That's how the numbers work. And we repeat the same process for Damia. Iroas, Dargo. So these other decks just did not win against Damia, so we're not reporting a win against Damia. Where the heck is the other thing? Yep. Oh, not that one. Dargo. Cool. And Dihada did not win either. Dihada, Iroas, Damia. Yeah, I mean, Damia was my first Sultai deck. I mean, you can tell how long I've been playing the game. And finally, Dihada. Okay, cool. So one thing I want to highlight here is Dihada is my newest deck. It is the last 2 columns of the spreadsheet that I built. And you can see here, basically I'm cycling through with all the existing decks, and they've all generally been played against at least once. So we have Iroas. Iroas did not win. We had Damia. Damia won. And then Dargo and Ich-Tekik also did not win. Okay, cool. So that's how I report the playtesting to see if it's even worth building sometimes. Now, I've physically built all the other decks except for Dihada. So just looking at Dargo really quick. What is the win rate for Dargo? The win rate for Dargo is it wins 35.8% of the time. So I might have misjudged Dargo to be like a high 3. It might actually be more like a low 4. Because if I have a deck that wins a significant number of times, a percentage, right, win percentage per pod. So like Damia, for instance, 40% of the time, the way this is reported is it has won against other decks. So of the total number of pods Damia's played 557 times, 223 of those is some win against one or more of those decks. It's not a total win necessarily, it's just a win against a deck. So if there was a way to kill off a player, I counted that. But if it killed the entire pod, then of course those numbers were counted once, twice, and 3 times. But Damia is definitely, I would say, a mid 4, at least currently the way it's built. It probably used to be a high 4, right below CDH. And I think it's a low 4 for Dargo Ich-Tekik at 35.8%. Now, Dihada, usually my decks that I most recently build are probably the lowest percentage. And I do like to try to get a full spectrum of bracket 3 and 4. So currently the way Dihada is playing it is it has won about 27.5% of the time. Anyway, that's what I do. I put in the spreadsheet. This thing has been in development, in design, pretty much for about, let's just say close to 7 years. Anyway, that's what I do for playtesting. If that's something you like, you can continue to follow. If you don't like it, let me know in the comments. Let me know how I can improve. I like to do different things, but whenever there's just not enough time to go out to an LGS to playtest a deck, I just do it this way. How do you guys playtest against your decks? Let me know. All right, that was very cool. Let's do kind of a recap for what we did in the stream. We'll go back, transition again to this screen. And what's going on here? There's some funkiness here. Okay, well, that's fine. Anyway, we talked about our altars. We talked about these. The ones done by Michiko to highlight Tifa Lockhart from FF7. We also talked about Kumiko's altar on Edea Possessed Sorceress to round out the Final Fantasy tribute. We looked at those were cool. We did the deck tech followed by a visual kind of capture of what the Dargo deck and Ich-Tekik deck does, to see what that looks like. And then we did some playtesting on Moxfield. Unfortunately, Dargo did not win. It lost against a higher powered deck that plays out quite a number of infinite combos. Peregrine Drake actually, was that the ideal card to select for the demonic tutor? I mean, I could have gone for a Palinchron, which does the same thing. Let me just make sure that is in the deck. I think it is. It is. So I could have chose Palinchron instead. Now, I think really the cool thing that happened was we did a scroll rack that drew into a Torment of Hellfire. So that scroll rack was actually pretty clutch. All right, playtesting, visual deck display, altars. Is this the kind of content you like to see? I hope so. If it is not, feel free to unfollow. But we are closing out now. Thanks everyone for watching. This is going to be posted on YouTube later. Hopefully that was really cool to see. Yeah, as always, like and follow. Check out AMP, check out Sublime MTG Altars. If you are a service member in need and just want to shoot the shit, send me a note. We can chat. I could introduce you to the Alliance of Military Magic Players Facebook group. We're trying to make that more. We had some new members come in, somewhere in the ballpark of about 300 plus members, which I thought was really cool. We have some really awesome content creators as well, and folks that just want to play Magic. All right, enough about all of that. We are now closing out. Thanks again, Twitch. See you next time.